Well, now I want to talk to Steve Sherrill to find out what he wants to talk about. So, what do you want to talk about, Steve?
Um, yeah, I'm going to talk about the Timonium train show and the setup that we had. Greg Cassidy and myself. I was there on Sunday. He was there doing all the work on Saturday, and it was a great time for me. And of course, all my pictures now are. I was all set up so good until. But anyway, the train show was on Saturday and Sunday. I understand it was the largest crowd they've had in quite a while on Saturday. And my experience on Sunday was the largest crowd that I've seen on a Sunday in many a day. I don't know. I kind of asked around why the crowd seemed to be so big this year, and the answer I really got was that because there are more and more hobby shops closing. And, I find that a little bit disturbing in as much as the old places we used to go to spend a Saturday afternoon or something are just not there anymore. We keep losing them and losing them. Um, and it's very upsetting to someone who's been to a lot of hobby shops in a day. I wanted to show. No, I don't know if you can see this very well. This is what the setup looked like. We had the banner. I had my little micro layout there on Sunday. It seems like the more things that we can put up to draw the attention with the banner, the more people we get to talk to. So some of the people I talked to, of course, the kids were there, and this little girl, I just couldn't resist her. She was so cute. She picked out, I had Minnie Mouse on my loading dock, and of course, the boy said Mickey, and she immediately corrected him, which was, what normally happens. I talked to a lot of grandfathers who brought their children. Um, we gave out all of the new tracks modeling information pieces of paper that we had. We had none left. I gave stuff to anybody that I thought had contact with somebody who would be eligible for the scholarship. I gave the grandfathers, guys, and they said, well, we don't have a grandson. I said, you got a nephew, a niece, a next door neighbor, something like that. What I did find was because we had an attraction, which was the micro layout, the banner caught a lot of attention because it's really a great banner. And people will look up, it sits high on the table. And when they look up and then come to bring their eyes down, you know that you've got their attention. And it's a great time to approach them, with such things as, hey, have you ever heard of new tracks modeling? And then they go in, well, what is it? You say, hey, it's a YouTube. It's on YouTube, and we have a Zoom. It's about modeling different scales, and they always want to know, does it have different scales? And I always say yes, we cover all the scales. So they're always interested in that. It was a real good experience. I talked to a lot of people who are just starting out in model railroading, and they don't even know what scale they're getting in. And they were, looking for some recommendations, and they were asking how much do you think it's going to cost to get in to, to start model railroading. And, so I made a couple of recommendations, one being NMRA, you have your divisions, go and see what other people's layouts look like, pick a scale, this type of thing. but they were people just coming in. A lot of men and women, you know, wives together, husbands and wives together. I was kind of amazed at that. I hadn't seen that in a long time. But I know Craig was the same as, you know, we need more volunteers on these tables to help us out. We can't have a break. You know, we can't go to the bathroom. We have to leave the table alone like that. I was a little reluctant to do it when I had my module there because it had some equipment. You know, if they're you never know what's going to happen. Somebody pick up a small engine, a car, and take it away. So I just think that if we could get more people to volunteer and relieve, you know, for a half hour, an hour, so we can go enjoy the show too a little bit. I know we had a lot of people who were at Timonium who do new tracks, and they could stop by the table and take over for an hour. They don't have to commit for the whole day. And it doesn't even have to be at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whatever time they have available. It's very important that we get the word out on new tracks and to share our ideas as far as modeling goes. I know that little micro layout, once I got explaining, you know, about it, they always ask, well, how'd you make this? How'd you do that? And that's a great opportunity to share some of the knowledge that we gain by watching new tracks and share our modeling techniques. So I just think that it's the table is great. We do great. We're giving it's you know, we're allowed this opportunity freely. It doesn't cost us anything. And to take full advantage of it, we need to be there and share. We need to have things on the table, models, and this type of thing. I am doing something. Let me get back here to my one thing. Now, if a micro layout gets some attention, I am going to do something in G scale that is really, really inexpensive. You've seen these Christmas trains that you buy for $29.95 from Walmart. Well, I'm going to do a layout on that 8-foot table, a little switching layout. I've already started, and I've got, here's an engine. These are battery powered, so literally battery powered, but I'm going to put my own RC battery in it. And I've got a couple other things. Here, these little sets you can buy for $10 to $15 now. And so here's a box car that I did, weathered up, and that's all ready to go. And for $10 or $15, you can buy an engine and 3 or 4 cars and some plastic track. So I'm going to start showing the basics, the very basic stuff. Okay, here's another thing that I did. These have all been done since the show, by the way. So just with a little Krylon paint, sprayed on, take them all apart, paint them. You know, you're ready to show somebody how easy it is to get into model railroading and enjoy it. So I think, Craig, you had some pictures too, didn't you? I don't know if you can show them if you have that ability.
I do, and I actually have something lined up. If you guys don't mind me sharing real quick, this will be short. The show opens at 9 o'clock on Saturday, and by about 10 o'clock, I heard people talking about there's still a line outside. So at 10:30, our table being very near the front door, I went up to the front door, and this is what I saw. show has been open for an hour and a half. So that was the line an hour and a half after the show opened. And that's the longest that I've ever seen a line lasting at Timonium. Saturday was one of the busiest days they've had in years. And that's going back to pre-COVID days. And I can't count how many families came by the table. There were families coming in that had just seen it was a train show, and they weren't model railroaders, but they wanted to see if there were some trains that they could show to their kids. I had 9 or 10 families stop by that had children in high school. Some of them were seniors, some of them were a year or two away, but all of them were happy to take applications and flyers for the applications. And most of the older gentlemen that I could get to stop by the table, they're not as easy to sell the applications to because their children are too old and their grandchildren are usually too young. But that's where the flyers about new tracks would go to. I'd say, well, take a look at this show. If you can use a computer, you can watch new tracks, whether you watch it live or whether you go to the YouTube channel. And a lot of them were excited about the YouTube channel. They said, oh yeah, I can do YouTube. I watch modeling videos there. So I think there was more interest generated from this show than I've seen in the 2 years I've been doing new tracks at Timonium.
Well, that's good to know, and I'm happy that that's happening, and I know that Scott will be too. You know, we couldn't do this without people like Scott Gear. You know, he donates the space for us. He helps us every way possible. He's donated to the scholarship fund. Without people like that in this hobby, we couldn't hope to achieve what we're trying to do here.
Let me see if I can find. There was another picture that I had taken. Here we go. If I can pull this one up on my share. So this was Sunday morning. I was handing the table off to Steve. On Saturday, I worked it. On Sundays, the club that I'm in, we also offer scholarships, and our table was over in the South Hall. So I went over to work our scholarship table on Sunday. And Steve's right. That little layout he has is a big draw for people to come by. I'll have to think of bringing something on the table other than just the flyers to bring more interest to the table when I'm up there the next show. And you're right about Scott Gear. I went up and thanked him Saturday morning before the show opened, because what people may not know, he offers the scholarship table for free. He doesn't charge. A table like that could cost you $60 to $70 ordinarily, and he has always offered it for free because he sees the benefit it brings to the hobby.
And you know, it's Amherst does the same thing for us, and the Harrisburg shows do the same thing. A lot of the shows around the country, if you'll just ask them, they understand the need. They understand what we're trying to accomplish. It's just, you know, we're the first people that have done it, and it's they're learning as we're learning about what we need to do and how we need to do it. Just like Bob is producing the tabletop signs for now. Last year we didn't have those. We didn't even think about having them. It's a learning experience,
and it's a little fun too. Probably anybody who stopped by the table may not have noticed, but last year before we started out, I went out to a party store looking for some type of plastic tablecloth. You'd need to have a tablecloth on the table. Mm-hmm. And I found some that had little scholarships and or little graduation hats and college stuff on it. And I thought that would be just perfect. So I don't know how many people who actually stop there notice it, but it's actually a graduation tablecloth.
That's great. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah, it's a little extra that, you know, kind of decorates the table.
That's fantastic.
It's better than just a plain blue one or something.
Anybody
you can see it there with the graduation caps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's a young man here who was in a wheelchair, and I called him over to show him what we could do for someone who had, you know, a situation where they couldn't stand up. And this is on the Lazy Susan. And so he pulled his wheelchair up, which was a perfect height for the table. And other people started noticing what was going on. And so we caught some attention. And he had no idea that this was a possibility for him. Okay. And you could see the smile on his face. He really enjoyed the opportunity, you know, to experience something like this that was completely unknown to him. But, you know, and so this is just one of the things that, you know, you can do. I mean, there's no person that I couldn't approach that couldn't have gotten something out of this little teeny micro layout. That's only 16 inches by 23. So it was a great experience for me. I enjoy it. And like I say, the banner, once the people looked at the banner, I knew I had a few minutes that I could share and try to, you know, influence them to view New Track's modeling. So, you know, I just want more people to volunteer for an hour to just relieve, you know. I mean, Craig has said the same thing. We just need to, so, you know, give us a little time at the show too. So that's it for tonight. It was a great experience, and I'm going to do something else in April that'll try to catch them again. You know.
Fantastic.